Hey, Mike Swenson here with the Elite Advantage team, and today we're talking about the process of selling your home. Want to know the details of what it takes to go through the process of listing your home, pricing it correctly, and ultimately getting an offer on that home? Stay tuned and check it out. We're talking today about the process of selling your home. Whether it's the first time that you've sold the home or you've sold a home, maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, things change. And so it's important for us to understand kind of the latest and greatest in the process of selling your home and what that looks like. So we just want to walk through each of these steps at a high level, give you a little bit more detail. And certainly if you have further questions down the road, you can reach out to us and ask us. We're happy to help you. So here you can see on the screen, we've got an overview guide of what that process looks like. You can kind of see each step in the process. We'll walk through that, but this just gives you a good high-level view of the process. So your first step is going to be meeting with your real estate professional, which is us at the Elite Advantage team, and we're going to walk through the timing and the motivation questions with you. When do you want to be in your next home? When do you want to sell this home? There's a little bit of an art and science to this because we don't always know when an offer is going to come in. We certainly hope that they come in sooner than later, and yet sometimes the market changes and we have to pivot and adjust. So we talk with you about what that ideal timing looks like. And then we kind of project out, okay, if you were to sell at this date, and then depending on what your next step is on the buy side, how does that look? We have to line things up. For some people, you have to sell your house to be able to use that money to buy a house. Some people you don't. Some people you're not going to buy another house. And so we walk through that timing with you and we figure out how to align things so that we can best meet your needs. So that's kind of that initial meeting. At that time, then our agent is going to walk through the property through the eyes of a buyer and get a general sense of things that might be important to talk about, whether it's repairs, whether it's touch-ups, different things like that. So you have time to be able to prepare for that. So then typically what happens, and this might happen the same day or it might happen a different day, is they're going to do a market analysis. They're going to look at what's active on the market in your price range, in your general area, what's pending, what's closed, and establish a price. And now when we talk about a price, we always talk about pick a price that'll cause your home to sell. One thing that differentiates us from other agents is you might find agents that say, hey, I think I can sell your house for this price. And what we don't want to have happen is you choose that price and your house sits on the market day after day, week after week, month after month, and eventually it just looks like stale bread. So, we don't make the market, we interpret the market. We're not the ones putting the offer in on the home, so we want to price it at a spot where buyers are excited to come look at your home and excited to come put an offer in on your home. So we do that through analysis. It's a consultative approach where we walk you through, here's what's on the market, here's what's pending, here's what's sold. If you were a buyer of your home, what price do you think would make sense? And so that's a process we go through together. We want you to feel included on that. Obviously, we have the experience and we're the professional to be able to advise on that. And yet we want you to feel good about a price. If a home down the street is listed for $10,000 less and it looks nicer than your home, then we probably don't want to pick that price because it's just going to help to sell that other price. So there is an art and a science to home pricing. And so it's not a decision we take lightly. We want to make sure that we feel good about the price, you feel good about the price, and ultimately we can sell the house for around that price. Next is preparing the home. Like I said, that might happen beforehand. It might happen after that first meeting, but we're going to walk through what needs to happen with this home before it goes live. For some people, it might mean some major repairs. For some people, it might mean some minor repairs. And for some people, it might mean no repairs. Everything looks good. And it depends on what price point you're in. It depends on what the buyers in that price point are expecting for a home. Typically a lower priced home, people are willing to do a little bit more work. If it's some sort of fixer-upper. If it's a higher price home, they don't want to have to do as much work, and so they might expect that work to be done ahead of time. So depending on the price point, depending on the area, we'll walk through what that looks like with you and how much time it'll take for that to happen. Then ultimately, once we've gone through and we've gotten everything ready, we may have a stager come in. We're certainly going to have professional photography and videography happening on the home. So all of that, we're lining up those dominoes to get ready to knock down once everything goes live. So we want to make sure we put the best foot forward for you. And so it's not a process that we rush through. Another thing that differentiates us from other agents is they might just rush to get your home on the market right away. And we say, think about it like shooting off a cannon. If you're going to shoot off a cannon, you want to make sure you push that cannonball all the way down so that it goes out really quickly and really fast. If you didn't push a cannonball down all the way, it might just kind of sputter out. So that's like the marketing on your home. We want to make sure everything is perfect. Your I's have been dotted, the T's have been crossed, the pictures look fantastic, the house looks fantastic. So when people come in and see it, they're going to really be wowed at what your home looks like for the price that you have it listed for, right? So once it's all ready, then we list it. When it's on the market, it's going to be critical that we're responsive when people want to have showings. You want to make sure that your home is ready and in a good spot when it's going to be shown. So that might mean, before you go to work each day, you just kind of quick pick up, tidy up, you wash your dishes and make sure they're ready to go. So if a showing did get scheduled that day at work, you don't have any need to have to go back and quick fix up the house or clean up the house before a showing happens. So during that time that it's on the market, we're going to have a lot of people in the house. They're going to be walking through the house. We might have an open house or two, depending on how long it's on the market. And so that's kind of that active piece when it's live on the market. At some point, we're going to have a offer that comes in. And so that's where we're going to walk through. Does that meet your needs? We may have multiple offer situations where many people are offering on your home. And so we look at different things. The highest price may not necessarily be the best offer. It depends on how strong that buyer is. It might determine the timing that they want to get in. There might be, something that they've asked for that you have in your home already that they would like to keep as a part of your home. So every offer is a little bit different. It doesn't always necessarily come down to the highest price wins. It comes down to the terms, the financing, different things like that. So we'll walk you through and educate you on that process so that you can choose the best offer that meets your needs for the home. We're going to go under contract and then work towards the final details. During that time, what happens is they might have a home inspection where they come in and take a look at your home. There might have been something that you weren't aware of that came up, or might be something that the inspector's concerned about in the future for the buyers. And so there might be a second negotiation that happens where you're looking at either taking care of those repairs, maybe adjusting the price a little bit, but there's kind of that secondary negotiation that may happen in the inspection. Typically, it's for major items only. That's how we advise our buyers. Not all agents operate that way, and so that's just a piece depending on the agent, depending on the buyers, and depending on what needs to happen. You go through kind of a second negotiation to remove that inspection contingency. After that, if they're going to have a mortgage on the home, there will be an appraisal that'll happen where they go through and make sure that it appraises correctly. If for some reason that didn't appraise correctly, we once again walk through and we negotiate if there's anything that needs to happen with that. Then they're checking the final boxes on the mortgage. You're checking the final boxes potentially on your next move and anything else that you need, and then we line up those closing dates. So we want the closing date to meet your needs. We also want it to meet the buyer's needs, depending on when it happens. So we're juggling multiple schedules at different times and making sure that everything lines up correctly. Once we get that date, we schedule the closing, and then you'll have already gotten your stuff ready to move out. And so you're going to be completely out of your home most likely before the closing, because typically on most closings they take possession at closing. So your house would be completely empty and you've maybe moved on to your next step already, depending on how things line up. And so you go through and you sign. Sometimes people pre-sign ahead of time so both parties aren't there. But if both parties are there, you're signing everything. Each side has their closer that's moving them through the process. They go in the back room, they make copies, they cut checks, they make sure everything gets sent to the right parties, and then you've closed. And we celebrate. We take a nice picture or a nice photo, celebrate the day, celebrate the memory that you've made for selling your house. So hopefully that gives you a good overview of the process. You found it to be a little bit educational, at least sprinkle in some of the details that maybe you didn't know or hadn't remembered from the last time you sold your house. Our process is we want to educate you. We want you to feel comfortable with what's happening. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out. We always want to make sure you understand where we're at and understand where we're going and what happens next. So we're always going to be communicating that with you, but certainly let us know if you have any questions, and we'd be happy to help. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time to watch this and seeing the process, and we'll talk to you soon.